After a long wait, it's finally time to test and deep dive into the BYD Seal. This is the BYD Seal Excellence all-wheel drive version, the highest trim level. I'm really excited, mostly due to two reasons. Reason number one is very obvious, the exterior design. It's a flawless design if you ask me. It's really sporty, round-shaped, great looking car, and that goes for every angle. The interior is also good. It's by far the best looking BYD interior currently. We're going to look into that soon. The second reason is actually the platform. It's built on BYD's e-platform 3.0. It's the fully electric platform, the same platform that the Dolphin is utilizing. Why is that exciting? Because it's a fully electric platform, not made for combustion engines or hybrids, meaning that you can utilize the platform in a better way, suited for fully electric cars. Welcome to It's Only Electric. Let's start, as usual, by digging into the details. The Seal is playing in the same league as the Tesla Model 3 and the BMW i4. When it comes to the exterior dimensions, the total length is 4.8 meters and it has a wheelbase of 2.92 meters. Compared to the Model 3, it's a bit longer, 8 centimeters longer in total length, and the wheelbase is around 5 or 6 centimeters longer compared to that car. Curb weight, just about 2.1 tons, so it's slightly heavier than the Tesla. And the main reasons for that is, first off, the battery pack. It's heavier. It's built on the LFP technology, BYD's own blade battery packs. They are slightly heavier due to the chemistry, but also due to some slightly higher gross capacity. The second reason is things like the door panels. The materials used here are not aluminum. Aluminum is a bit lighter than these doors. The Excellence all-wheel drive version brings two motors, one induction motor here at the front axle paired with a more powerful permanent magnet motor at the rear, putting out combined 390 kilowatts or 530 horsepower, 670 newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.8 seconds. That's around 3.6 seconds for 0 to 60 miles per hour. Top speed 180 kilometers per hour. 19-inch wheels. These are standard on all versions, 235, 45 all around. The Excellence package also brings some extra stuff, bigger brakes here at the front, bigger disc, and active frequency dampers, which will give you a more pleasant ride or a more sporty feeling whenever you need. Let's look into one of my favorite aspects with the BYD Seal, and that's the frontal design. Very sporty looking car, sloping bonnet with a big BYD logo at the lower part. Underneath that, a frontal parking camera for the 360 view, slim headlights with a signaling light or DRL light here at the bottom. Underneath that, the black accent hides some DRL lights and a ventilation. This is real and goes through into the wheel arches to optimize airflow. The lowest part, a black air spoiler, really lifts and make the car look more sporty. With a range of up to 570 kilometers, that's for the rear-wheel drive version. If you go for all-wheel drive, it shrinks down to 520 WLTP kilometers. That range is delivered by BYD's own LFP blade battery pack with a gross capacity of around 85 kilowatt hours and a net capacity of 82.5. When it comes to charging, the charge port is placed here at the right rear fender. Probably not the best position. Home charging, 3-phase support, 11 kilowatts. When it comes to fast charging, DC charging, 150 kilowatts as a top speed, 10 to 80% in around 40 minutes. So really not the quickest charger on the market, but I'm gonna try that in my next video, so stay tuned. Let's move on to the rear end design of the Seal. And a bit of an anonymous tail of this car. The taillights, slim, Dotted graphics and a light bar going through the whole back end of the car. The BYD Seal badge with a 3.8S statement. That's the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time. Hopefully they will replace that with 3.6 in the UK. I'm not sure. The lower part is equipped with a very aggressive air diffuser. I'm not sure, but I think this is more of a show, not that much of a function. And as you see here, fake air ventilations, they are not open, just for the looks. Here at the middle, we have a backup camera supporting the 360 view. Just above that, a small button for controlling the powered liftgate. Parking sensors all around. BYD still thinks that parking sensors, USS sensors, is good to keep. Just as a conclusion of the overall exterior design, I still think that the BYD Seal looks better than the current updated Tesla Model 3. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer this design or would you go for the Model 3? Let's have a look at the boot. Opening it, powered liftgate as a standard, 400 liters of total boot capacity here at the rear. Some extra space here underneath, 2 compartments, one here at the lowest point for storing like a tire repair kit, thin audio subwoofer, some loading nets here, and no 12-volt outlet and no hooks for securing your cargo. Foldable seats split into 2 sections, 40 and 60, same as in the Tesla. Let's see if it can fit my fake golf bag loaded with golf clubs. It barely fits, but it's possible. This one has the measurements of 120 centimeters tall, 45 centimeters wide, 25 centimeters thick. So this is my simulation of a fully loaded golf bag. The 400 liters at the rear is companioned by a small frunk delivering 53 liters. That's actually more than enough for storing all your charging equipment. So my recommendation would be to always store your cables here at the front. This is a nice thing. It's a 4-way outlet delivering up to 4 kilowatts of extra power. So you can actually plug this into the charge port and get some power to your external devices. This is perfect when out camping or somewhere remote where you don't have access to power. Let us have a look at the interior and let's start with the back seat. How does the door closing sound? Sturdy. That's a good sound. Solid, no strange sounds, no missed sounds, a solid build quality here from BYD. That also goes for the materials, soft touch, cushion materials here at the top. Stitching, 2-tone stitching. The DIN audio system also shines through here at the rear. A nice watery shaped, ocean shaped door latch. I think it's plastic, maybe aluminum, not sure. Alcantara inlays on the central part. This is also soft touch. And even the hard plastic parts feels nice, not that cheap plastics. Wavy shaped door details and built-in ambient lighting here at the back seat too. So very close to the design in the front seat. We will check that out soon. Let's look at the space here at the rear. And as you see, plenty of knee room. 3 fingers, almost 5 centimeters of leg room here. The front seats are adjusted after my driver position. I'm 193 centimeters tall or 6'4". And as you see, I'm also possible to squeeze in my feet underneath the front seat, even if the seat is in the lowest position. So that's good. Another thing is that you don't have any bump here at the mid seat. So no cut-on tunnel for combustion engines. That's one of the biggest points of running and building on a fully electric platform as the BYD Seal is. So better space to utilize here at the mid row at the rear. Really nice. Another thing is of course also the space. I mean, you can really maximize the cabin space on this kind of a platform. How about the headroom? I have almost 1 fist or 3 fingers of space here at the rear for my headroom, and that's plenty, not squeezed in any way. You can easily squeeze in 2 decently sized grown-ups here at the back and still travel comfortably. You have some nice pockets, storage here, 1 big pocket, and on top of that 2 smaller pockets fitting mobile phones and cables, etc. At the mid console we have some extra storage, 2 manual adjustable air ventilations, underneath that a latch, a hidden latch with a USB-A port and a USB-C port. When it comes to the comfort here at the rear bench, as you see, indented outer positions, perforated, not ventilated. That also goes for the backrest. 2 comfortable outer spots here at the rear. Not that great thigh support, but for me it never is. And this is on par with other cars in the segment. Not worse, not better, just the same, I would say. Headrest, 3 individual headrests, adjustable height-wise, so only in Y-axis, not X-axis, but it's still plush and gives you a good support. It also goes for the mid-segment, a decent headrest for that part too. Mid armrest, cushioned, soft, 2 smaller cup holders, and a bit high, I would say. I would have liked the position of this one to be a bit lower, closer to the actual seat. The last thing here at the back is the great panoramic glass roof. Goes all the way from the front to the back, almost goes hand in hand with the rear glass. There's like 15 centimeters of space between the panoramic glass roof and the rear windshield. It's a really nice view. When it comes to the dimming, it's not dimmable. It is what it is, and the amount of dimming is on par with Tesla cars, for instance. So it's decent. You will feel extreme heat, you will feel extreme cold, and I mean that's how it is to drive cars with panoramic glass roofs without any curtain. I think that's it from the back seat. Let's jump over to the front. The same materials and shapes continues here at the front, so a very symmetric designed interior and materials as such. At the top here, soft touch. The stitching goes on at the top of the dash too. Alcantara inlays here at the lower part of the dashboard. In between that, digitally adjustable air ventilations. They are smart, so they also have this oscillating function, swing function, as traditional ACs has at home. That's really clever, so it oscillates to help you to provide the best experience when you want to get chilled. Otherwise, the shapes are a bit rounded, a bit wavy, and goes hand in hand with the concept of the sea in general. I mean, this is a Seal after all. The doors, same materials as in the rear, Alcantara inlays, the Dynaudio sound system built in and attached to the door latch. The control panel looks decent as in other cars. One good feature is that you can have the child lock at the rear adjusted in 2 parts. So we have 1 right and 1 left button to be able to differentiate if you have 1 or 2 kids. Otherwise, well cushioned armrest. I haven't had any problems whatsoever with some elbow pain, so cushioned and nicely placed. That also goes for the armrest here at the middle. And whilst talking about this armrest, you have some decent storage inside here. It's a deep pocket with a lot of space. Unfortunately, there is no USB-C port in this pocket, in this space. In front of that, you have 2 adjustable cup holders. In front of that cup holder, you have the control panel with all the physical buttons. The knob here, the small crystal knob, is the gear selector. Underneath that, you have the start and the stop button, and that is a button you need to utilize and use every time you start up the car, and also every time you exit the car. Underneath that, the parking button. So the park function is not a part of the actual lever, the gear selector. It's a separate button for that. And most further downwards, you have the hazard lights. To the right, the volume knob to control the media volume. Continuing upwards, you have the AC control, defogging, auto, on, off, etc. To the left side of the lever, you have the drive mode selector, cold mode. You have different drive modes. We'll look into those soon. Anti-spin functionality, deactivate, activate, automatic handbrake, and also the park assist or 360 view activation. On top of the lever and the control panel, you have two Qi chargers, two generously placed with generous space. Works all the time, even for my slightly bigger Pixel 8 Pro. Works like a charm. Don't like that one though. Big message. Now to the screens. And this is one of the parts where this car really differentiates itself from the Tesla thinking, because it has two screens and one head-up display instead of just one central media screen. This screen is normally placed horizontally. You can switch it to a vertical mode. I'm not sure, I haven't really found any use case for this positioning yet. I really much prefer it in a horizontal mode, but you still have the ability to choose for yourself. 15.6 inches, running on Android, not officially, but it's built upon Android, it's very clear. And I have been driving BYD cars a couple of times now, and I can see that the system is evolving, even if it's not perfect yet. Still have some smaller caveats, like translations into Swedish is really not great still. I think they really should let the Swedish BYD division help them translate the operating system, because some things are really badly translated still. And I'm missing some functions, like a lot of information concerning the trip, the consumption, etc. There is lacking a lot of information when it comes to consumption. You can only see the consumption for the whole traveled distance of the car, the odometer, and you can also see the consumption of the last 50 kilometers. You can't see the actual consumption connected to the tripometer, because you have two tripometers, 1A and 1B. They measure the distance perfectly fine, but you can't see the actual consumption for those trips. Let's move on to the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster is fixed, placed in a nice position just in front of the steering wheel. It's 10.25 inch and gives you all the necessary information you need. Sometimes some of the information in the cluster can be a bit too small, so I think it still needs some adjustments, some enhancements for the user experience to be better than today. And on top of the instrument cluster, you have the built-in head-up display. Everything, all these are included in the Excellence package, so there's no extras. And another thing that you're not used to see if you have a Tesla Model 3 is stocks. So you still have traditional stocks, one at the left side, one at the right side. Steering wheel as such, tidy, flat bottom, otherwise a round steering wheel with a big BYD logo here at the center. To the right of the steering wheel, the control panel, you have the media controls, like volume, skip songs, etc. You have the voice command activator, phone calls, the mode selector, and the mode selector is not to be confused with the mode selector here at the center, because this is the drive mode selector, this is the source selector, so you can skip, jump between sources like Spotify, Bluetooth, radio, etc. On top of that, you have a control button. If you press that one, you will be able to customize the information in the instrument cluster. To the left, you have the drive assist functionalities. For instance, you can activate and deactivate, launch the actual 360 view, the parking assist functionality. You have a rotation button for rotating the screen, And to the most further to the left, you have activation of the drive assist functionality, constant speed, or the full drive assist function. You can resume, set or decrease the speed. You can also adjust the distance to the cars in front of you. When it comes to storage, as I said, a deep pocket with a good amount of storage here. You have the space underneath the control panel, the USB-A, USB-C port, plenty of storage here, and in the door pockets, decent space for water bottles, etc. And on top of that, a traditional glove box is available. It is time to test drive the car. Let me just briefly talk about the seats before anything else. The seats as such are comfortable. They give you decent support, both the seating area and the backrests. They are cushioned and have this side bolsters. And I actually don't have anything direct to complain about. The headrests are static, so you can't adjust the height or the depth of the headrests. Good thing though is that they are well cushioned. They are a lot softer than in my Model Y, for instance. And for me, at least, in a good position. Powered seats, ventilated seats, heated seats here at front. You have a powered lumbar support. The thing I miss, that goes for all the cars in this class, and that's decent amount of thigh support. So the thigh support as such is not extendable, for instance, as in a BMW i4 with the M seats. So it's static, you can't extend it. So the amount of support you get for your thighs are limited. But I haven't had any leg pain, elbow pain, anything like that, despite driving it for a week now. So all in all, a comfortable driving position with decent amount of space here at front. Din Audio is the sound system this car is equipped with. It's a 12 speaker system. It's a bit to the warmer side. I like warm sounds, so that's good, but it's lacking a amount of details. So the mids and highs are a bit underrepresented in the sound image. Otherwise, a good sound system. Now to some driving dynamics. There is 3 different drive modes: Eco, Normal, and Sport. I'm actually going to take a on-ramp to the highway, so let's do a acceleration. It's quick, it's fun to drive, it's engaging. I mean, as I said, 1 week of driving, and I enjoy my time in this car. It's a nice car to drive, it's pleasant, it's responsive, not that direct as the Teslas tend to be, not as direct as the BMW i4 M50, but still maybe some soft aggressiveness into the car, but it's well companioned with a very direct feeling in the steering wheel. I like the feel to the steering wheel. It's direct, it's pleasant to drive, it's fun to drive at the same time. Good thing though is that it has this kind of active dampers, so frequency activated dampers, which means that the dampers by themselves automatically adjusts to the current road conditions. Whilst driving slow on uneven surfaces, the dampers gets softer and gives you a more pleasant ride. But pushing it a bit more, it stiffens up and gets more sporty and supportive for your style of driving. And I must say that they're really working good. It is much better than having static dampers. Then the Tesla also went for active dampers on the updated Tesla Model 3, so it's a step in the right direction. And it's good to have the car equipped with it, and these active dampers are included in the Excellence package. So if you go for Excellence, you get everything you need. all the equipment, the sound system, the active dampers, all the screens, head-up display, ventilated seats, power liftgate, etc. Bigger disc brakes, four-wheel drive, a lot of things is included in the Excellence package. Let's switch over to Eco mode. Feel the difference. It gets a bit more settled and slow. Not that responsive when you floor it. Takes a bit more time to accelerate. You also need to use your right foot more, press deeper to get the same amount of acceleration as in sports mode. So you feel the difference, and it doesn't give you all the power either. It doesn't go all the way up. So Eco mode is a bit more calmed, so to say. There is two levels of region, normal and high. I unfortunately only found one way to change the amount of region, and that's by sliding your finger on top of the screen and press the regenerative braking function. You press that and it toggles between normal and high. And in high, it is still not a one-pedal driving, far from, but it's the best way to drive it on, if you ask me. Sure. Normal is almost like coasting, has a slight recuperation to it. There is no adaptive recuperation that adapts to the traffic situation. It just rolls, but it rolls with a small amount of recuperation. So it's not coasting, and the high is not one-pedal driving. So both modes are a bit in between those two steps. I'm really missing one-pedal driving on this car. I mean, it has all the potential with two motors, one permanent magnet motor at the rear. So you can really bring that maximum amount of region if you really want the software to do it, but currently not available. Hopefully that's something that will be available in a later stage, but I haven't heard anything, so don't take my word for it. This is a silent car. I mean, it's driving on 19-inch wheels, 235s, 45s, not that massive tires and wheels, but still decently sized. And the cabin noise is fairly good. I mean, double pane windows as default here at the front. The acoustic glass helps to lower the noise in the cabin. Not that much of a road noise. I don't have any A-pillar wind noise whining. So it's a pleasant car to drive, and that together with the active dampers and the suspension, this is a good car for road tripping, for long trips. But at the same time, it's powerful and engaging to drive. I mean, it's quick, and the steering wheel is really responsive. You feel the road in a good way, and it's very direct. It's fun to drive on curvy roads. When it comes to drive modes, just want to do a addition. You feel that it stiffens up a bit in sports mode. It's still a bit soft though in the body roll side movement. It is not as stiff as the Model 3 or the Model Y. Bit more of a side roll, body roll, but so more comfort in general compared to the Teslas, but also less sporty. We have been looking at the exterior, the interior, all the facts, driving dynamics. Let me try to summarize my experience and my view of the BYD Seal. But let me start with the price point. It starts from 559,000 Swedish crowns or 45,000 euros. That's for the design version with the big battery pack. There is no small battery pack available currently in Europe, so only the big battery pack that this car has, the same one. This one though, the Excellence, costs 599,000 Swedish crowns or 55,000 euros. So that's with everything included. The only thing you can change is the paint, the wheels, all-wheel drive, all the equipment, everything is included. So the price difference between the design version and this Excellence version is too small to ignore. So I would straight ahead go for the Excellence version with all the equipment, because you get a lot for the money. That's just my take on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which one would you go for? Share your thoughts. I know that BYD is launching a updated Seal, at least in China, very soon. I also know that BYD is working on, or very soon releasing, a new version of the BYD Blade battery pack. That pack actually has 26% more energy. So it's 26% more energy dense than this current version. That actually means that if they put that battery pack in the future in this car, you will get almost 700 kilometers of WLTP range. And I think when BYD does that, and if they can be able to keep this price point, this will probably be one of the most compelling cars on the market. They will for sure steal a lot of customers from Tesla. And if they are smart, if they want to go ahead and help the European consumers to buy a BYD, I think they really need to be a bit better than the competition. It is not enough to be as good anymore. You need to be better. So better range, high efficiency, good looks, that's what this car needs. And efficiency is probably about right. The range falls a bit short, should have been a bit longer than 520 kilometers, at least to be better than the competition. Otherwise, I think this is a great package, at least for people that not looking for a Tesla and want to be a bit unique. A lot of people has actually stopped and asked me about the car. What kind of car is it? What's BYD? Looks great. So a lot of excited people has been asking questions and looking at the car. Obviously a competitive package, at least when it comes to the exterior design. There is one more aspect that I think BYD needs to work on, and that's the software. They really need to get their stuff together and be able to fix the software as such. It is not bad, don't take me wrong, but I think it is a distance left to cover before it's good enough. I mean, especially things like translations, some design issues, some functions missing. The good thing though is that the Seal offers both wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. I have been running it on Android Auto all the time, works flawless. The phone gets overheated whilst charging on the Qi charger. That's a normal issue, goes for all the cars, and it's more related to the phone and to Android, wireless Android Auto as such. Don't miss my next video with this BYD Seal. That's about testing real range, acceleration, noise, and charging. Because charging is also possibly a pain point of the BYD Seal. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and engage. Let me know what you think about the BYD Seal. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.